Hi there. Okay, so today I want to share with you, oops, forgot my mic, sorry. Today I want to share with you the most effective plateau buster, something that I use with clients all the time that is guaranteed to work. And this is something you've probably never heard of. But first, I want to tell you just a little bit about what is a plateau so that you know when it might be time to try this little trick. First off, a plateau, some people would tell you that a plateau is when your weight is pretty much stable, sort of gaining and losing the same, half a pound to a pound for about 3 months. However, I feel that a plateau is really when you've been struggling for a month, it's time to implement. So to me, a plateau is when you've been gaining and losing about the same pound or so, the same weight, whatever it is, for a month. So also I want to say that a plateau is to be expected. Nobody gets to goal just in a straight line, right? There are detours along the way. And as your body is losing weight, it begins to adjust. Your body craves balance. So as you eat less, your body adjusts to that, and then it doesn't feel the lack of energy, the lack of calories. So we have to expect a plateau. Now, the key for a plateau in any situation is perseverance, diligence. So you have to really be diligent and you have to have a really great attitude. You have to be in the frame of mind that I like to refer to as that learning mindset, where you're kind of open to figuring it out, being solution focused. So persevere, be in a learning mindset, and also have data. So here's what I mean by that. A lot of people don't think that tracking what they eat or drink is valuable. However, I really disagree, because it's not about every little calorie or every little fat gram or being perfect, that perfectionism mindset. What it's really about when you're tracking is providing data so that you can tweak when needed. And the perfect time to tweak, of course, is a plateau. So let's go over the usual stuff that you would do if you were experiencing a plateau. The first is you might want to shake it up a little bit. If you've been doing the same exercise, eating the same foods day in, day out, even the same calorie level, it's probably time to shake it up. As I mentioned, your body craves balance. And so you really have to change things up a little bit so you're keeping your body guessing. The second thing, the most obvious thing that we use to battle a plateau would just be the idea of consistency. So a lot of people reach plateaus because they're really not consistent with their efforts. Maybe they've gotten a little too comfortable, a little cocky, whatever it is. But consistency is key when it comes to losing weight and getting to goal. So those two things are the pretty obvious stuff. And hey, for those of you who don't know me, I am Stacy Portugal, and I help women who are over 40 figure it out. I help them get to goal. I help them really do stuff that's most effective and most sustainable, because you know what? We have to follow the science of weight loss. So my theory is lose the drama, embrace the science. Okay, so let's go over what we can do, the number one most effective thing to battle a plateau. A plateau, of course, in my eyes, is when you've been struggling for about a month, you're gaining and losing the same pound or so. That's truly a plateau. And keep in mind, for a plateau, we have to be really diligent. We have to be consistent. So we have to have that persevere, I can do it attitude, being in a learning frame of mind, and we have to follow the stats. So this is where tracking will become really valuable for you or your weight loss coach. So I feel that the number one thing you can do is change up your macros. And in order to change up your macros, you really have to have an understanding of food and how the quality of your food affects your body, and can also tap into, it allows your body the ability to tap into its own fat stores so that you can lose the weight. So once you embrace that science, there's no drama. There's no drama to losing weight. You start relying on the science. So moving around your macros, mixing it up a little bit is going to be really, really essential. Let me quickly give you an overview of what macros really are. So there's 3 key macronutrients that we take a look at in nutrition. The first is protein. Protein is like the workhorse of your body. It is the macronutrient that is responsible for cell repair, cell turnover, so building new cells, for building muscle. There's a whole bunch of things that protein does. So protein has a very, very, very important job in your body. And protein, as I'm sure many of you know, comes from things like poultry, comes from eggs, particularly the egg white, but the egg yolk a little bit also, comes from things like nuts, seeds, beef. So there's all sorts of sources of protein. Carbohydrates are sort of that quick energy macronutrient, and you might see some things under the carbohydrate label when you're looking at a nutrition label. For example, fiber is counted as a carb, but these are calories that we don't actually absorb. So just an FYI, if you want to understand macros. Carbs are stored there. It's quick energy for your body, and your body stores glucose, which is made from carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are come from things like fruits, vegetables. Those are definitely the best sources. But they also come from agricultural type products like oatmeal, wheat, corn, which to me is not really a vegetable. And then there's, and your body only needs about, ready for this, about 5 grams or so of glucose that's actually floating in your bloodstream. When your body doesn't know what else to do, when it has no further need for that huge pasta dinner, what does it do? It goes right into fat, folks, right into fat. So carbs, I really primarily help people through a low carb diet. That's what I believe in. That's what I believe is by far the most effective way of losing weight. And I believe it's the healthiest way of eating. I really do. So fat is the third macronutrient. And fat is sort of like the underdog. It's like the poor, misunderstood macronutrient. It got a really bad rap back in the day when the whole low-fat, high-carb craze came into the public light via the media. But really, in fact, this was a misguided, it was misguided advice, and it was misguided information. So we now know that fat has a very important role in your body. And that role is it helps carry micronutrients, which are like vitamins, throughout your body. You need fat for your brain health, for your eyes, for your skin. There's so much that fat does for your body. And really all these macronutrients are important, so we're not vilifying anything. However, I believe it's really important, if you're going to truly follow the science, what you really need to understand is how you balance these macronutrients. And being on a well-formulated, low-carb or ketogenic diet is the best way to do that. So this month, I am going to be discussing various topics that will give you a better understanding of a ketogenic diet. And like I said, it's all throughout the month of October. Registration is required, and I'm going to go ahead and put the link in for you to register in the comments section of this post. And just remember that the most important thing that you can do to really push past a plateau is to rebalance, take another look at your macronutrients and where you stand with that. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this through these calls that we're going to have this month in October. So it's all about understanding a ketogenic diet and how it can help you get off the diet merry-go-round. And I will be leading these calls. So there are two topics that we'll be looking at. Exactly what to eat on a ketogenic diet. We're going to go into details. We're going to talk about meal planning. Also, how to manage a ketogenic diet. The good, the bad, and intermittent fasting. Registration is required. Remember to follow the link in the comments. Just give me a minute if you are watching live, and I will see you on the inside of these calls all throughout October. Once you register, the calendar of calls and the call-in information will be sent right to your inbox. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching once again.